Hi, everyone. Welcome to Freebird Spirit YouTube channel. We are we are in discussion, and this is Wisdom Behind Awakenings discussion 19. Wow. Okay. So here we are, and we are continuing this conversation. And Chrys, hasn't it been so wonderful, the comments and the discussion that continues
Oh,
after
I'm
this?
thrilled. I'm thrilled. I want more. You know, I periodically will check them and go, anybody new? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's Maddie who said she had a women's studies degree, and um, it was like, yeah, and it was like I immediately felt like our sisterhood kick up. It was like, yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, okay, it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what's happening with us in these discussions, our own awakenings, our own, almost like this breath is being put into, to me anyways, and bringing just new life. And I think you're experiencing a little bit of that as well.
Mhm.
And so it's really, really cool to see that others are also being affected the same way as we are.
Well, I think it's just always a surprise when you do these kind of things that stuff happens that you didn't even consider, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so reading those comments, it's like it's affecting me. But even when we have our talks, it's affecting me. So I feel like I'm in the process of awakening another level, and that's right. And
That's
that's
what that's the plan.
that, that's
That's what
that's
we
the
want.
love behind the awakening.
That's the love behind the
There
awakening.
you go.
Oh, that's what I was. I wanted to wear that shirt today. That's so funny because I was as I was preparing for my day, and I'm like, I knew I had something I had planned to wear today.
And I didn't wear mine either. No.
What? All right.
Well,
Well, next week.
next week we'll do that.
We
We'll have choices next week.
oh, and we'll have choice. I can't wait. So yes, so love behind the awakenings, um, which the light being that has come into these discussions with us has brought in that title for us as well, love behind the awakenings. And so I may be changing it on some of our media as well.
Oh, you did change?
No, I should though, right?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, she
Yeah.
gave that to you.
She gave it to, so I should add it, right?
Who gave it to you? Who gave it to you?
Mada.
Oh, Mata.
Yes.
What's the Mata?
Oh, don't start on that because now you're going to make me pause on. So we're laughing at this because this beautiful spirit has come and has joined us in these conversations, and she's wonderful and has brought through some channeled messages. If you haven't seen those, go back and watch. And when she first came in, um, she came in the energy of, and she said, my, kind of listening to what we should call her. And she said, the frequency of my name would be similar to what you recognize as mother. Well, so then we just kind of started calling her mother, but I had a hard time with that. Chrys, I was telling Chrys, I'm just having a little hard time calling her mother, for many, many reasons. There's lots of layers to that. And so I asked her, is there a different, with the same frequency, is there a different name with the same frequency? And she said, Mada, Mada. And so I looked up the Eric, we just looked up the Arabic meaning of Mada, and it's Magdalene, right? What else? It was Magdalene and utmost point. So I love that. I love that. So Mada. So that's what we're going to stick. We're sticking with that. Except now Chrys is making fun now. But thankfully, Mada thinks it's funny too. All right. So there's a lots of within the discussions and the comments, kind of pulling some things out of that. Chrys, you came up with some questions that kind of came from the discussion that continues in the comments, as well as on things that you have questions in regards that we can talk to Mada and see if we can get some answers to some of these things.
The one thing that kept coming up for me all week was that well, she said that humans do this thing with love, which I'm totally on the same page. People talk about romance and a whole range of things that have to do with love, but and those are really the ways we construct it. Like, a wedding is love. No, a wedding is a party. But it's like the ways in which we do that. And so I guess the question I had for her was, when we talk about love, we're talking about really the highest vibration, I think. And so I wondered what she would say. What is love?
What is love? Well, you're on the right track, Chrys, in that love is a frequency, love is a vibration, and it moves at the highest, it's the highest vibration. There's counterparts to this in the human experience. So if you can imagine, here's a circle. This is love at the highest vibration. And then you have little cords off of it that have been created to understand the highest vibration of love. When you move at the highest vibration of love, there's no imbalance. There's no lack. There's no loneliness. There's no death. So when you come to have this human experience, everyone's striving to be loved. Because you have a remembrance of being encapsulated in the highest frequency of love, where you come from. So automatically, when you come to have your human experience here, all you do your whole life is strive to be loved, to find that love. And it's always lacking in the human experience because of the dynamics of being a human and being separated from the all-enveloping source of love, the highest frequency. So you watch this play out in many, many stories. You can look at many, many stories in just that you're connected to in your experience, your life experience. You can see how it plays out in each individual seeking to find that frequency of love. Acknowledging it, that it's there, is beautiful in itself. Because once you acknowledge that the highest frequency is love, and acknowledging that while you're here on the planet, you may not always be able to step into that highest frequency of love, acknowledging and knowing that it is there and that you are not separate from it, even in your human experience. However, on the planet with its density, you're only feeling part of it, right? So it brings in a little bit of that lack, but just acknowledging it and seeking it in meditation and in your dreams. You can pray for it before you go to sleep, so you can experience it in your dreams, in your dream state, as you connect to the other side. So when you're sleeping, you're in connection to the other, what you would call the other side. And that's a time that you can be enveloped in the highest frequency of love. But acknowledging that what you do as a human is continually seek out that love. You can stop seeking in the wrong ways, right? So you can see how our you can see how our time here, when we experience time here on this planet in this density, that we're just crying to be loved and seen and heard, and how it plays out, and it can play out wrong, right? So you can find yourself, because you cried out in the wrong way for love, that for this love frequency, because we're trying to fulfill it. So it would be like the need for a substance, right? So you do anything to get that substance to fill that space within you, that hole within you. It's like that.
Yeah. Pause. Yeah. Um, that was fabulous, by the way. That was very important and raised a lot of questions. Um, when we take on, I've always heard people have these discussions about when we're activists, okay? Are we driven more by anger or more by love? And I used to feel like that was mostly a wrong question or something. But, what propels people to take to the streets or uh, to do, it's like what like the women you've been covering on Monday nights, the strength, the passion, the strength, the commitment, the I think the love for themselves and for other. Um, I guess I'm asking, how does that kind of action resonate with what she's saying about love?
Love is anger.
Ah,
It is such a privilege to have emotions. And what has been taken from your experience in emotions, if you can recall back to people who are, adults in your life, if you're a child and you have these adults in your life and they're telling you, don't cry, don't be angry, don't have it, always trying to suppress emotions. But it is, emotions are such a gift, such a beautiful, beautiful gift in your human experience. And if you list out, you have sadness, you have anger, you have love, you have passion, you have all the emotions. Anger is love. Where it becomes out of the realm of love is when it comes from that empty space, that taking back to the unhealthy way of seeking out this love, that the highest vibration of love, and we do it in all these wrong ways because we're desperate to find this, because this is where we came from, this is what we recognize, this is what we know, and we want it because we feel so empty here and so different, and all these things that take place, and so we just don't have the right tools, and we choose poorly to get to that highest vibration of love, right? So it's this, then you add an anger being a piece of that, because of all these uh, wrong turns, and uh, it we can come at with anger wrong as well, because it's not coming from the vibration of love, right?
so is social justice the kind of love that produces a positive anger? Is there a negative anger?
Negative anger is when it's not coming from the space of the vibration of love.
Mm-hmm.
So we can produce unrighteous anger from our experiences. So, but again, I want you to understand what a beautiful gift it is to have emotion, and to be able to feel anger, or feel happy, or feel love, feel joy. These are beautiful gifts if they're coming and united with the vibration of love. So you experience in your lifetime all different types of anger. You can see where anger can come, and it it it's over the top. It's gone beyond the scope of, you were over, your emotions got away with you, right? So it's important to keep it in check and understand it, but you can't squash it, because it's all part of the vibration of love. So, and it's important, how you use it and where it's coming from and recognizing those things. So refocusing a lot of so when you're seeking this high vibration of love, the true vibration of and the highest vibration of love, that envelops these areas too. So you'll be more aware of when you get angry, let's say. You'll be aware of the space and the frequency of it. And acknowledging too that you're driving the bus here. So, yeah, you have the free will to squish the anger, and then it's going to pop back out in the wrong place, right? Or you can take a look at it, understanding that it's coming from the space of awareness. Sometimes it's attached to pain. So when you bring it into this awareness, it's a beautiful gift of understanding and awakening and releasing in proper ways. Fear is an emotion. Fear can be important. Fear can be an avenue of bringing you into an awareness and being prepared, or to listen. But many of you have been brought up on fear, and so that fear piece needs to be healed to bring it into the awakening, so you understand that when you experience fear, what else is it triggering in you? And so you can release that. You can have deeper understanding of where it's connected in. So when you experience fear in that frequency of love where it belongs, then it will offer you awareness. It'll offer you to stop or to go, or a yes or a no. Fear is a beautiful gift of consciousness and connecting into your intuitive being. But it's the narrative of it has really caused havoc and chaos in the human in your bodies, in your experience, because it's been used against you. So from the very beginning, they've molded fear into where it doesn't belong. So in talking about women, in being active and speaking up for human rights and those things, that is individual depending on who is experiencing the anger within them, of where it comes from. And each individual is responsible to check that and be aware of that. Even those who are fighting injustice, make sure to check that as well, to make sure check the triggers. What's triggering you want to fix this injustice? Is it because of your own wounding and your own injustices that you went through? And so it's you're taking the injustices that happened to you and transferring it onto this scenario and bringing the anger in from that. And it's giving you an opportunity here to feel angry about what happened to you as a child. Take inventory of where that righteous anger is coming from. It's an opportunity of deeper healing for you. So to answer your question, there are appropriate ways to bring in righteous anger or anger towards the injustices of the world. Also, as humans, we are in flux, and we are frequency, and we are vibration. We are constantly moving as well. And when there's an imbalance in that, we know. And if we get angry in that because there's an imbalance in the frequency, that and we get it brings us into that anger. That's okay. That spurs you to action. So that's a beautiful way of love, and bringing it to action, bringing love into action to bring that balance back in the frequency, in the vibrations.
Okay, so I'm imagining, I might be wrong about this, but I'm imagining that people listening are having a lot of questions. How is emotion beautiful? How does grief, I mean, grief is an expression of love. There's no question about that. But seeing someone hurt by someone else often will bring us to a place of needing to act, right? So I can see where that comes from, a vibration. When does that when does that vibration go down? It I think you just said it. It goes into that place of it's coming from an old wound instead of coming from the higher vibration. Is that right?
It's an opportunity to look at your old wounds that are causing you to make choices for yourself that would put you in a position of not utilizing your emotions for the highest good for you and others around you.
It's hard to imagine that emotions are a beautiful thing, because most of the time emotions are stirring us up. You know, they're something to manage, something to handle, something to try and figure out.
Offering many opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah. I can understand how it'd be hard to see it as beautiful. But let's say if you change the narrative and you say emotions are beautiful, even grief. Can you feel that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But hurts.
Yes.
Hurts don't feel beautiful. Hurts and pain don't feel beautiful. Um, I'm aware that I have to go through sort of an emotional calisthenic kind of thing, to try and get the hurt to a different place.
Are you talking about physical pain?
Well, it can be both. It can be both. I mean, I'm mostly thinking about emotional pain because that's what we're talking about, but sort of the way in which hurt sets up
So
emotional pain.
emotional pain, yes, it's an opportunity.
I
It's an
heard that
opportunity.
voice from a therapist a long time ago. As I'm sort of laughing about it, but yeah, it's you know, because I had a therapist who said you feel guilty about somebody being hurt by you, and how who are you, you know, to deny that person an opportunity, which was almost felt like sociopathic kind of thing, like I shouldn't care. I should just say, oh goody, you're hurt, now you grow. It's not an easy.
Yes. So guilt is an opportunity as well.
Mhm.
All emotions are an opportunity. If we didn't have these, if we didn't have these emotions as when we have a human experience, where would where would that deeper understanding of the highest frequency of love come from? The It's a beautiful experience. It's a
Hmm.
beautiful experience.
Hmm. So what is love?
Without love, there is no life.
Mhm.
Love is life. Love is all. You are love. Every If you look at everyone as a music note, it's a different note within the the frequency of love, within the vibration of love. If we all understood here on while having this human experience, and we seek what love is, don't we, the whole time? Um, we would we would love our neighbor. We wouldn't try to make others be like us.
Uh,
We wouldn't try to make others believe like we do or live like we do. We would honor the space that they're in. We would honor them and who they are, what they believe, and their journey to awakening and deeper conscious and connection Mhm. She's showing me, I am you and you are me.
Mm-hmm.
And we're offered an opportunity every day when we read the news, hear the stories, with our emotions. When I hear a story, so when I hear a story of like what's happening in Florida, I have the opportunity, like Mata said, to look at it and go, okay, so what am I going to do with this? With my emotions to it, right? So, yeah, I can get really angry. And I have an opportunity to look at where that anger is coming from. Is it attached to uh, me and the injustices that happened to me growing up? Or, and if so, that's okay. But recognize it, adjust where needed, saying, okay, well, I see that it's attached to this or this, but I still can see that there's an imbalance here and people's rights are being taken away to be who, or whatever, to read what they want to read, to, human rights are being messed with here. So that's that, human experience that you're seeing take place, and it should make you angry, and that's okay. So then you take the anger and feel it, right? We feel the anger, we feel the like, what in the world's happening there? But what are you going to do with that? Are you then going to step into the fear? Or are you going to step into, where are you taking that anger, that first initial thing? I wonder what she'd say about that.
Well, when I go through the news in the morning, and I'm doing it partly because of what I do for work, but when I read stuff, in Florida was a good example because there is clearly someone and some people who follow that person who are going along with harming others.
Yeah, harming. When
They're harming others.
there you go.
And I feel when I'm reading that, I'm upset. I'm I feel empathy for the people there, and I feel hurt that someone would do that to people. Uh, my heart aches. I'm emotional. And I think the bottom line is because it's coming from a place of living in a loving world, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not I'm not engaging with sort of the vitriol, the sort of calling him names
Right.
or get doing that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I have such a strong sense of righteous, sort of a
Yes. Mm-hmm.
righteous anger. Yeah, like a sense of how dare you? Can't be doing this. Why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And then I start to do the dance. And the dance is to take me to a place where I say, okay, so I'm not in Florida, and I can't do anything about that there. And I'm going to pray, focus on, meditate on spurring people on in that state to do the right thing. I keep hearing people saying that they're going to be leaving Florida because it's a terrible place to be. And I'm thinking, that's really not the solution. But okay, I understand. I don't know. I'm trying to take in what you're saying and at the same time see if there are more questions attached to that. And And I can see where that comes from love, but it also comes from pain. And you just said pain is part of that package. But
Right, right.
but
So
why
just
do we don't want pain. We don't want harm. We don't
we
want hurt.
don't. We do not.
No,
We do not.
no.
I know. I know. Um,
So if love
I
is the
think
energy on the other side, if love is that highest vibration, and the other side has is that highest vibration, why do we not just all want to go there?
why don't we want to what?
Go there.
Go where?
Why don't we just die?
Well, a lot of people do, right? They're like, I'm done with this shit. I'm out.
Yeah, well, there's more than ever, I think, right now. There's a lot
Yes,
of
yeah.
leaving. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people, you know, what I'm seeing, and this is me, Debbie speaking. What I'm seeing, you obviously can tell. What I'm seeing is what I feel is that we're given these exit opportunity. Like if you want to leave, or you have let's say you have three exit points in your lifetime, and um, people are using them. They're like, okay, I'm going to use my first exit choice. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? A
yeah.
lot of people are using their exit points, and they're just saying, yeah, I this was one that I chose, and I'm going to go ahead and keep it because I can't do this any longer. It's too hard, like that. Um, but yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of the opportunity. What she was saying about opportunity. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it, but I feel like I like that word.
Yeah, in the counseling communities I've been part of, that word got overused.
Oh, okay.
It got to a point where when somebody said, well, look at the opportunity, I said, oh, fuck you.
Right. I don't want to look at the
So I don't need that. I don't need your opportunity. I don't need that opportunity. So you have to already be embracing that approach in order to take that in. Opportunity for what? That's the real question.
just
Opportunity for what?
I to live in the highest and best good for you and others.
All right, so I'm in Ukraine and Russia is bombing the hell out of my town.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't have a home to live in, and my child and I are trying to get away from this place. So is that an opportunity?
It is. It is. She's when I'm going in to talk to her right now, I was like right with you. I'm like, uh, like, and so kind of, I wish you all could see what she was showing me, this little thing. Um, it, but it is an opportunity. I know that from your perspective, and you're sitting in your home, and with the way, the ability for information, you get to, from your home and your life experience, have a bird's eye view of what's happening somewhere else on the planet, um, in their life experience. So you're visualizing, and you're feeling these emotions from your own life experience. So, for example, let's say you go to some remote village somewhere, the the family living there doesn't have running water. They don't have they they don't have the comforts. They don't have food from the grocery store in there. They don't have they live literally off the land. You and your life experience may go there and you're like, I brought supplies, but because in your mind they're lacking. But if you walked in, if you walked into their home, whatever that home looks like, you would see that there's laughter, there's joy, there's love, there's plenty. But what you see as plenty is much different than what they see as plenty. So it's important to know that you're looking at something through your lens and what you see as would be plenty.
All right, but what if what I'm experiencing is being beaten by my partner on a regular basis, and my child is watching it all happen? Now what?
What's the question?
Where's the opportunity there?
The opportunity for the person who's being beaten to love themselves. Now, I don't feel that this is Debbie. I don't feel like she's trying to negate that she's being beaten and she's in this situation. She's bringing in a perspective here.
I understand.
Okay. You're asking about the opportunity for.
Well, the word opportunity is being.
I know you don't like the word opportunity.
No, I'm not. I'm trying not to be that dogmatic, but what I'm hearing is that it's sort of this totalizing concept. It's like it's all of it is opportunity, and I'm imagining people listening to this going, wait a minute, I'm in this really dire situation. I don't see opportunity here. So explain that to me. And I think what you just said was there's the opportunity, and we can find any number of synonyms for that. But we've talked about free will and those sorts of things, but it's really about I'm at the crossroads. Either I stay in this and feel like I have to, or I make a choice and I do something else, which is really an expression of loving myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's partly what I'm hearing.
Yes. And she's also showing me, while you're talking, she was showing me it also offers others opportunities to assist, to help, to be a part. You know what I mean? A lot of people ask, why did someone choose Alzheimer's to go out? Well, why, if I'm choosing the way I'm going to be leaving this earth, why would I choose something like that? You know what I mean? Right. Well, it offers opportunity to not only yourself in whatever way spiritually, because I can tell you that I've in my time, working with people who wanted a reading in regards to their loved one who has Alzheimer's or dementia, or like that, the majority of that person, that physical person that you're looking at, the majority of their spirit is already on the other side, working and doing things, and already. So we don't have the full picture here, right? So again, taking back to the opportunity for those who are caretakers, and their own stories. Again, everything's linked, and how they respond with their emotions in regards to their loved one going through this. And so you can see how it all kind of all circles back, from what I can sense what she's showing me here. It all circles back to really maneuvering for the highest good for yourself and your own personal frequency, and connecting into the source and love, and others.
It's a chance. It's a chance. I think part of what's I'm struggling with the word opportunity is because it's so much out of this capitalist mindset, about everything is an opportunity, that it's in that economic setting. You hear it a lot out in the world. But I think that the synonyms are.
I was just going to look it up.
I just did, but nothing was really resonating the same way. It was it's a moment when you can make a choice that's better. You have the freedom.
Freedom. I just saw that word. I was honing in on
I
that.
know.
Freedom.
Right. You have that freedom to choose whether you stay or go, whether you love yourself or you stay in it. And I think what happens to a lot of women is that they're trying to protect their children, or they're staying for their children. And
yes.
And what they're doing is choosing to teach their children to stay in negative situations.
Right. Yeah.
And that's always the hard part. I was just listening.
It really, yeah, offers you the freedom to look at some of your faulty thinking and where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep seeing like the Eight of Swords there with this scenario, and where you're kind of like behind, the woman's kind of tied up with the blindfold, and the swords are all there, and but she can easily get away, but she feels stuck. She's a little bit blinded. This is very much that scenario that you're talking about.
But that goes back to what we've talked about a lot, about boxes and about narratives. And I was just listening to a family member say, I can't leave my husband because my children will feel the loss. We're both miserable. We're going to stay together because they would miss both of us in those conditions. So they make that choice. And what's unfortunate about that is that that it is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to teach yourself and them other ways of being together that aren't housed in the same building under the same negative conditions. You know what I mean? You can choose to I want to use something besides the word separate, but you can choose to separate in a way that's, it just reconfigures it, that does it with love and does it with kindness and openness and possibility. But
yeah, I want to go back, and I want to be clear here, okay, because she wants me to go back to your scenario of the Ukraine situation, and being sensitive to that. I feel what she is saying here with that, and in that, yes, it is. I don't have any other words, Chris. I know you don't like the word opportunity, but I know.
No, it's okay. I just needed to say that.
Right? Okay. So, yeah. So that there's an opportunity here for her, her and her child, that there, it doesn't mean that this is a good, obviously this is horrible. But again, you have to understand the perspective that you're pushing that horrible on, right? Of course, any type of killing and war is like that needs to change globally, right? But since she's in that situation with her child, uh, her response to it will, I feel like what she's saying is that don't put your experience into her experience and try to not see that there's truly an opportunity here for her.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with this idea. If I'm in a concentration camp,
Yeah.
Or what
And
the
you
Russian
can,
soldiers did
yeah,
to the women of those
yeah.
communities, were beyond hideous. They're beyond hideous.
Mm-hmm.
There's no opportunity there
No,
other
but
than to
see
say to yourself, I'm going
that's
to
the
let
word
myself go.
opportunity there. So I feel like, again, even within those experiences, um, you know, and I want to be sensitive. I'm not saying that it wasn't, it's horror. It's just all horrid, and I'm speaking all horrid, but having those horrific experiences and being in that space, um, they, people made choices. They could, for their fellow men, for themselves, even though everything was stripped from them, in the little moments, um, in the moments
In the moments they have some choice, is what you're
of
saying,
how,
of how to
like, respond.
handle whether
Yeah.
the fire's burning under my feet and I'm being burned at the stake.
Yeah.
In that moment, I am choosing to come to peace with my former life and let it go.
And go.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
there's
some
all,
of the stories have been horrific and beyond horrific. And, you're always, and of course, what I'm always reading is like people leave their bodies before that happens. But, some of the enormous numbers of sexual violence and rape in those war settings, these are women who are alive. They're not dead. They're not, they may die shortly thereafter, but they're in the experience and the
mm-hmm.
horror of it. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're in the middle of horror, it's hard to sort of imagine that we're there in an
Right.
opportunity.
Right.
You're not,
Right. So,
you know,
but also keep in mind here that the people who are uh, acting out their uh, violence onto someone else, uh, they have overstepped they have allowed their emotions to overtake them, and so they go to violence because they have not been able to handle their emotions, right?
or they've cut themselves off from their emotions. Yeah.
But you know, someone who rapes someone or kills someone or is just brutal to someone, yeah, they're disconnected from love, from
Mm-hmm.
that frequency of love, and they're really maneuvering out of that. I would assume that it's just a dark space of horrible
Well,
passion in life.
so we talk about sociopaths all the time. It's just people who don't feel.
Mm-hmm.
They don't feel. I'm getting this image of that man who killed the students in Utah and how he talked about how he would look in his father's face and he wouldn't feel anything.
Right. Right.
wouldn't feel anything. And so the absence of emotion is what?
So his absence, his quote, absence of emotions, he can, then he starts to seek, right? So you took it all the way back to the beginning here, Chrys. So we seek that. We seek to be loved, seen, and heard. We seek to feel love, to feel something, right? And so in this scenario, he wanted to feel something, and in order to feel or have a feeling of something, he wanted to kill. He went through the action of killing these kids in order to get to that feeling. So that's a good example of a bad way of trying to get to find your way to the highest frequency of love, right? But he's seeking it too. We all are. That's what we're here. We're seeking for love and like that. But he's seeking to feel anything, or whatever. So, but he's just coming from that other space.
I'm really appreciating that we're having this conversation because one of the things that's always bothered me a little bit has been sort of the ways in which some of the spirituality stuff minimizes. There's always an answer. You're here for the lessons. It's like, no, I'm not. You want to say that this wasn't a lesson I signed up for.
Right.
You get in those places, but even so, we often it often feels somewhat reductionist. Sort of like this. We've always got an answer for whatever it is you're struggling with, and so I'm really glad that we're having this conversation because we're trying to sort that out.
So she's like she wants to change that word lessons
I would like
to
that. I would like that.
she said she's saying awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Change the word lessons to
Awareness.
awareness.
Yes, because awareness, because awareness, awake. Wait, what are you saying? Wisdom is behind awakening. So we got to put awareness in there.
Well, love is awareness.
So love is awareness, and love is the awareness behind. No, love is the awareness behind the wisdom behind awakening.
We don't have enough room on our sweatshirt for that.
No. Put it in the armpit.
All wrap all around.
All the way around, yes. And then we'll put vagina on the back.
Yeah, and the vagina on the back. And everybody's like, I don't understand.
That was the last episode, everybody.
Yeah, if you saw the last episode, if
the
you
last
didn't,
episode was all about the vagina, yes.
yes. Everybody's like, oh, I got to go watch that one.
Right. We had our own vagina monologue.
Yes. Yep. Oh gosh. I want to see if she has anything last thing to say here. I know there's a lot of questions to go through here, but we obviously will continue to revisit.
Well, I think this was actually pretty intense.
So it was.
And it's going to take me a while to sort of let it settle. But
yeah, we can
come back, and I want to hear what people have to say in response to it too, and to keep asking the questions.
Yes, please ask questions, and we can bring them to her. She's showing me the scene, and so maybe you can help me understand what she's showing me here. But it's kind of like it's like it's interesting because it's familiar to me, but I don't know. But someone's walking on a dirt path, and they're coming upon more of a muddy space that's really gonna, you're gonna possibly sink into it or get your shoes really, really muddy, and it'll be harder for the rest of the path with those muddy shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go ahead of this person. And when I say you, I mean everybody here watching. You go ahead of the person and you lay down a blanket or a cloth or your own coat or whatever for them. Um, so the rest of their path isn't going to be so difficult.
Right.
That's love.
Oh, that's love. I was going to say that's chivalry.
No, not
Oh,
chivalry, because it's something that you recognized because you have understanding. You can see down the path that if this person destroys their shoes and having to walk through this muddy part, the rest of the path is going to just be super long and difficult.
all right. So, am I taking that person's opportunity away?
No, it's offering you an opportunity because they still have the rest of the path to go.
Okay. Okay. I had to ask.
Yeah. But I don't know why. I'm curious to know if anybody else gets an understanding of why at the end when I'm asking her, just kind of, do you have anything to close or say? She gave me that scene.
Oh, she gave you that scene. Right away, I got the sense of what it means to be in love energy, which is to always be present and
Be,
available for other and to always be working to make others pass.
I'll be in service of others. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Beautiful.
Yeah. I've had to reframe that. I always felt like when I was teaching, I was in service to those students, but when I'm not physically with them, so I've had to reframe that and instead be in service to people I'm connected to, which is shifting. It's like shifting it. And when you shift into that space, that love gets you through the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does keeps
And
you
so
going.
when you think about the woman and her child in Ukraine,
Yeah.
what is the opportunity for you?
Mm.
Because we all have the opportunity because we all have been seeing it, right? We all
Well,
can
there's
see it.
there's there's multiple places, right? There's multiple
Of
ways.
course, but it's just an example.
Yeah, no, it's an example. Yeah, but
Because we know.
it's all connect because we are all one.
Mm-hmm.
When you reach out to someone you can reach and help, that's also helping that.
Yeah, it's also helping that. But we also can put our intention into the love, into the light, into
Right.
the source, our intention for this woman and her child in Ukraine, right? Um, that's what I was seeing. I was thinking we have that opportunity.
Yeah. 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 Get out of our own stuff
Yeah.
all the time.
Anyways, it was a interesting. It was a
That
lot.
was that was a lot and it was intense. I'm
Yeah.
really feeling it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to rewatch and
Yeah.
yeah.
And how are you feeling? Well, I'm serious. How
Yeah,
are you?
yeah, good, good.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and say our goodbyes, and we will. So, thank you everyone for hanging out with us during this discussion, and we are very interested in your comments and any questions that kind of were spurred from this time. And so Until next time, step into love and light, and we will see you then. We'll see you next.
Happy opportunity.
Happy, happy opportunity. It is hugging you all, hugging you all.